Continuation from the previous discussion on chapter 2 industrial. We are talking about the zoning provisions, and industrial properties are essentially grouped into planned areas to have the minimum impact on the adjoining uses, and therefore there are buffer zones which are added. Industrial zoning provisions vary somewhat by municipality, but such activity is generally grouped in terms of general and heavy industrial uses. Each category, M1, M2, and M3, so on, provides permitted specific permitted uses, lot frontage, lot area, minimum front, and the side and yield. So, so I think this is no different than in any of the commercial zoning, which we have C1, C2, C3, or even for the matter residential, which is R1, R2, and R3. So we're very similar to that. There is a industrial zoning with M1, M2, and M3. Industrial zones are often set out provisions. Essentially, initial zones set out provisions for limited retail activity involving product manufactured or assembled on the premises by the way of factory outlet stores. However, such a provision would typically require that the area of the outlet cannot exceed a specific percentage of the total floor area. Also, the industrial zoning provisions provide for office floor area to accommodate the administrative staff and in-house professionals or technical staff either within the manufacturing facility or in a separate building on the same lot. As this overall guide, general industrial would normally include activities relating to the manufacturing, fabrication, assembly, processing, and packaging of products, including stamping, treating, finishing, refining, distilling, and warehousing of such products. A broad array of uses fall under the general principle, general industrial including mechanical and electrical contractors, computer data services, telecommunications, and advanced technological equipment, manufacturing and processing, repair shop, lumber yards, printing, X laboratory, etc. Heavy industrial involves more intense manufacturing or processing activities such as refineries, metal and petroleum products, brick, tiles, clay production, blending tar or petroleum for roofing, paving, and related work activities, tanneries, rendering plants, heavy equipment manufacturing, meat processing and packaging of bulk packaging of chemicals, fuel oils, and other petroleum-based products. Industrial parks. An industrial park is a controlled environment designed and zoned to accommodate a specific type of industry and to provide such things as public utilities, streets, railroad sidings, and water sewage facilities. Industrial parks, sometimes referred to as industrial park districts, are intended to provide areas for industrial development so that do not distract from adjoining residential or other uses. Regulation impacting industrial parks include compliance with performance standards relating to noise, vibration, odors, toxic and noxious material, radiation hazards, fire and heavy and explosive hazards, glare and heat. Industrial park may serve as a buffer between heavy industrial activities and a business or residential district. An industrial park requires comprehensive planning to ensure adequate roads, proper land use, and site coverage, lot sizes, and minimum acceptable architectural and landscaping requirements are met. Industrial parks frequently require detailed site plans for all construction and strictly enforce building requirements that through deed restrictions. A well-planned industrial park should properly integrate with the remainder of the community by using buffer and restrictions requirements considering the preservation of open space. It should also ensure that consistency is maintained within the within the development in the interest of protecting the stakeholders, be they the developer and tenants of the individual owners. Municipalities typically require site plan control agreement in relation to individual properties within an industrial park. The Society of Industrial and Office Realtors have identified various elements essential to well-planned industrial park, including comprehensive planning, compatibility between industrial operations in the park, consistency between industrial park and the existing activities, the character of the community, design control, openness and parking and park-like settings, harmonious integration with the neighborhood, zoning to protect surrounding areas, and a continuing responsibility of park management to preserve compatibility. Single and multiple use. Traditionally, industrial buildings represented standalone structures on individual parcels of land. The single-use properties remain a popular option, but industrial areas are increasingly dominated by large multi-use buildings developed by developers or investors to attract leasehold tenants. The tenants can then decide on the total area to be leased, with internal wall construction and finishing completed following lease negotiations. New creative approach have appeared for multi-use buildings. An industrial mall, for example, can involve a single or a group of buildings owned individually or divided into units for separate occupancy and uses. Industrial malls are often established as condominiums with individual units, common parking facilities with separate or common loading facilities, and common services. Industrial malls have gained widespread popularity over past decades. Another variation involves vacant land industrial mall condominium. Developers are able to register vacant land as condominium. As a condominium corporation, the property can be divided into parcels and marketed to individuals without the need for traditional approach involving the subdivision development. Each parcel owner is then responsible for the proportionate share of building and maintaining of the common areas, roads, and services. Municipalities generally favor this approach as well, given the fact that the servicing cost and ongoing maintenance are the owner's responsibility. There's a single-use building, there's a multi-use building, and there's a vacant land industrial mall condominium. Coming on to the building construction side of it, industrial buildings, given the driving force of the demand for products and services, are typically purpose-built. Structures are divided into three categories: general purpose, special purpose, and the single purpose. Single and special purpose dominate, given the need for distinct manufacturing and distribution process. Single and special purpose dominate, given the need for distinct manufacturing and distribution process. Prospective buyers must evaluate costs associated with substantial modification required to accommodate alternate uses. Given that industrial structures are process-intensive, improvements can be particularly vulnerable to obsolescence. Ceiling heights, clear spans, floor loads, etc. Only, only decades ago can render a building obsolete by today's standard. Industrial building categories: general purpose building offering features and facilities for a range of for the wide range of alternate usage. General purpose buildings are understandably the most common type of structures as they have the widest appeal in the industrial market. Speculative construction is almost totally devoted to this category. Special purpose buildings offers offering selected features of particular interest to the specialized industrial processes, distribution centers that have extensive loading dock facilities. Often such buildings have loading docks on both sides to facilitate cross-docking. Other types of specialized warehousing or manufacturing buildings may require reinforced floors or for storage and heavy vehicular traffic. This special purpose building is not restricted to one particular user, but is best described as the one that has narrower applicability than a general purpose structure. Single purpose. A single purpose building has little or no potential for conversion to other use other than those for the intended users. For example, an oil refinery or certain type of heavy industrial manufacturing plants. Single purpose building could be converted, but the most of the cost of conversion could be significant and usually neither economically feasible or practical. Single purpose buildings are traditionally more difficult to market given unique features constructed for the specific user. Access to the facilities can be challenging from an appraisal perspective owing to the lack of comparable properties. To recap, a general purpose offers features or facilities for a wide range of alternate uses. Special purpose offers selected features for particular interest to a specialized industry or processes. And single purpose has little or no potential for conversion. Regarding the building construction, industrial buildings are typically constructed on concrete block, poured concrete, steel, or some combination thereof. Block buildings, often with brick facing the front and two sides, have traditionally been favored, but steel buildings are now generally dominate the single-story, small and medium-sized industrial structures. Design characteristics vary depending on whether the intended use is light or heavy industrial. Heavy industrial requires additions, structural floor columns and ceiling reinforcement, along with higher bays and clear height to address such things as stationary or moving cranes, stamping equipment, large processing equipment, and raw material storage. Pre-engineered street building. In recent years, pre-engineered street buildings have gained widespread popularity. Pre-engineered engineering offers various advantages, most notably lower cost than traditional construction methods, the speed at which these buildings can be assembled on-site, and long-term durability. The manufacturer is able to achieve higher cost efficiency than engineering designs of pre-established building frames are made from an existing inventory. Further, the manufacturer may have approved contractors to handle all related services, including erection service, foundation, finishing, electrical, mechanical, and lighting system. The pre-engineered buildings have gained popularity given its relative simplicity from a bias perspective. The industry uses the only establish the size and the shape of the building, subsect structure and foundation, roof structure, material, exterior, enclosure enhancement, type of facade, and location of the windows, doors, and loading docks. An engineer then creates a blueprint and the related specification in line with the user requirement and the already building code. The building is ordered and manufactured at a factory with all the parts pre-cut to exact dimensions as set out in the blueprint. A significant time advantage can be gained as the site work is finalized while the building components are manufactured. Once such is selected, the customer can add interior walls, installation finishes, and so forth. Typical industrial building. Most small to medium sized industrial general purpose building offer similar features and characteristics. For example, a freestanding structure typically includes both main industrial area and an office area. The industrial area must have single floor with a clear height, typically between 16 and 25 feet, higher if required, poured concrete slab on grade, a steel frame roof using open web joist, a built-up roof with stone ballast, steel strip windows, metal doors, and overhead doors for loading dock. The, the surface area is typically 15 to 20% of the total industrial area and is either contained with the building or extends out from the primary structure, sometimes referred to as a box on box design. To recap, the most small and medium industrial general purpose building offer similar features and characteristics. For example, a freestanding structure typically includes both a main industrial area and an office area. The industrial area must have a single floor with a clear height, typically between 16 to 25 feet or higher, and required a poured concrete slab on grade 6 inches or higher, or greater thickness depending on the need. Steel frame roof using open web joist, a built-up roof with stone ballast, steel strip windows, metal doors, and overhead doors for loading dock. The office area is typically 15 to 20% of the total industrial area and it's either contained within the building along with mezzanine level above the standard height office ceiling or extend out from the primary structure, sometimes referred to as a box on box design. Floor walls and ceiling finishes will vary, but at the basic level would include sealed concrete floors And then industrial area with vinyl or ceramic tiles for the office. Interior partitions would normally be drywall on metal studs, along with acoustic ceiling tile. Heating would probably be with gas-fired radiant heat tube heating with separate rooftop heating or cooling for the area of the office area. Lighting is typically metal halide highway fixture, high bay fixtures for industrial area, fluorescent fixtures for office, and high density discharge fixture for external perimeter lighting. The main the main service would involve three-phase incoming service with a step-down transformer. The three-phase incoming service is required for large motors, usual to industrial needs. Selected features and characteristics. Selected fee terminology relating to features and characteristics of industrial premises are, 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 are alphabetically below. Bay depth. A bay is an finished area between two rows of columns and two rows of columns between two rows of columns and the bearing wall. The bay is usually the smallest area into which the building floor can be partitioned. Bay depth refers to the distance from the bearing wall to the rows of column in the building, or the distance between from one row of column to another. Bay depth is important consideration in the layout of office retail industrial buildings. In retail office leasing, the term takes on the precise meaning when referring to bay measurements in the construction of outfitting of office space. The bay depth refers to the measurement from the outside wall to net side to the outside corridor to the exterior wall or glass. Bay depth is important in deriving the most efficient use of space, as is the bay height. Clear span or clear height. The span refers to the amount of floor area that is clear of interference from columns and support walls, and also of importance to industrial users. The extent of clear span is particularly key to industrial operations, including manufacturing, warehousing, distribution, and storage facilities. The excellent example of a large clear span steel building is modern airport hangar. Clear height refers to the unobstructed distance from floor to ceiling. Light industrial warehousing facilities normally range between 15 and 30 feet clear height. Crane. The ability to install one or more cranes for lifting or moving heavy items is vital to many industrial users. Cranes are generally classified in one of the three categories for industrial purposes: bridge crane, gantry cranes, and jib cranes. Bridge crane operates on a system of horizontal rails and requires column-free areas within the structure. Bridge cranes, often several operating in sequential order, can work on a series of related tasks by moving the product along the work floor. Gantry crane is best described as a portable bridge crane operating on the wheels that can be moved about the floor area or in outside yard areas. The word gantry refers to the framework making up the crane. Bridge crane, gantry crane, and the jib crane has the arm attached to an angle or to a rotating mast that is permit 260-degree shifting on the mast. In most circumstances, the jib crane is attached to a structural column in the building that restricts the shifting of a half circle. Flat roofing. Flat roofing is most commonly found on the industrial structure. The term flat is misleading, as flat roof have some degree of slope for water drainage. Slope refers to the degree of rise. For example, a 4 by 12 slope means that the roof rises 4 inches every 2 horizontal run. Industrial roofs have very slow depth, very low slope as compared to the higher slope in residential property. Residential roofs are not watertight but rather shed water given the high slopes. The industrial flat roof must be watertight along with associated joint and seams. Typically, roof docking in the newer building is steel or concrete. Wood decking can be found in older structures. A typical new industrial roof has steel decking and a vapor barrier to prevent the internal moisture from penetrating insulation placed above it. Above the insulation, the roof structure is applied. Several roof surfaces are available. A built-up roof Being very common. The built-up roof consists of asphalt, felt and gravel. Successive layers of felt and, asphalt are layered over the entire roof. The final coat of asphalt is then covered with granule base layers of metal aggregate. Built-up roof life is dependent on many factors such as weather conditions, quality of material used, number of ply installed, and the amount of roof foot traffic. A properly installed high-quality four-ply roof should last with 20 to 15 20 years. Recent years, other type of roofing has been introduced, such as rubber and vinyl waterproof membrane that lay directly over the insulation and then held down by aggregate. These membranes are made in large sheet with any with any seam properly sealed on site. Floor load. Floor load refers the ability of a floor to support the live load. A live load generally consists of three components: the weight arising from the assembly of the person, the weight of accumulation of equipment and finishing, and the weight of the stored material. Live load should be clearly differentiated from dead load. Dead load refers to the weight of the structural member itself. Materials incorporated in the structural members and the permanent equipment. Material building code sets out live load requirements according to the use and occupancy that are normally expressed in terms of pounds per square feet or metric equivalent for the various type of uses. The minimum specifications are typically stated as a uniform distributed live load on area floor in relation to the particular use. The building code will set out differing minimum specification for equivalent service assembly, office, garage, factory, and corridor areas. Live load requirements apply to both residential and commercial structures. Load requirements also apply to other building components such as roof, balconies, elevated walkways, or footbridges. HVAC. As the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning applies to all commercial buildings, but warrants highlighting when discussing industrial building fixtures characteristics. This is particularly vital with with certain industrial uses that must maintain continuous air quality along with temperature. Industrial HVAC units regulate even distribution of heating, cooling, and fresh water throughout the building. A broad range of HVAC systems are used in our marketplace. Industrial HVAC systems are often roof mounted with, with supply air diffusers strategically built within that ceiling along with the return air duct. Following are selected component: air handlers, condensing unit, ductwork, rooftop, HVAC, and unit heaters. Loading dock. A loading dock is an area for primarily in commercial industrial structure designed for an onloading and offloading of product, usually at truck level height. Common docks features are itemized. Shelters are flexible levelers provide an adjustable platform between trucks and docking. Well service inclined dock areas for structure built on grade levels. Dock height loading offering direct loading has become popular. Grade level loading for areas that are level with surrounding parking and related areas permit direct access to and from the structure of forklift and other vehicles. Various big box retailers provide grade level loading features limited area for customers pickup. Sprinkler system. Sprinkler systems are common in all commercial buildings, but for an emphasis when discussing industrial uses, this type of interconnected pipes through all or a portion of a industrial building provides water as a fire protection service. Most sprinkler systems can be manually operated or automatically controlled by smoke alarms or other heat-sensitive detectors. Tower sprinkler means that the building is equipped with a system of automatic sprinklers. The sprinkler system runs by pipes, risers, main, and sprinkler head. Five types of sprinkler systems are commonly used in the marketplace: wet pipe, dry pipe, pre-action, deluge, and combined dry pipe and pre-action. Wet pipe, dry pipe, wet pipe, dry pipe, pre-action, pre-action, deluge, combined dry pipe, and pre-action. So a wet pipe is filled with water under pressure. A plug will melt at high temperature and release the water immediately. A dry pipe contains compressed air extending from the sprinkler head to a dry pipe valve. When the plug melts, the air pressure drops and the water flows to the sprinkler head. Preaction contains air that may or may not be under pressure. Water is water is held back by automatic valve operated by heat activated device and is generally more sensitive than normal automatic sprinkler. Deluge is used when unusual fire hazards exist and large quantities of water are for quick needed quickly over a large area. Valves can be coordinated to open either manually or automatically by the heat activated devices. Combined dry pipe and pre-action employs automatic sprinklers attached to the pipe system containing air under pressure. Nearly all automatic sprinkler alarm systems trigger include a trigger protected by a flow of water that sets off the water or electric alarm. Both systems can be connected to a local fire alarm. The release of carbon dioxide, a colorless, odorless, heavier than air chemical, has been a valuable system for extinguishing fires in electrical equipments. Gasoline air. To recap, there are five kinds of sprinklers: wet pipe, dry pipe, uh, pre-action deluge, and combined dry pipe and pre-action and combined dry pipe and pre-action and combined dry pipe and pre-action. Nearly all automatic sprinklers alarm system will trigger include a trigger followed by a flow of water that sets off a water and electric alarm. Both systems can be connected to a local fire alarm. The release of carbon dioxide, a colorless, odorless, heavier than air chemical, has been a valuable system for extinguishing fire in electrical equipment, gasoline, oil, grease, and paints. Transformer is a electrical device that changes voltage through the traversal of electricity by means of electromagnetic induction, commonly associated with electrical property. That take time kinds of transformers. Pole transformer used for a small service. Assembly. It is basically on the pole and has a smaller size services like under 600 amps to industrial, retail, and office and investment properties. Mat transformer service is a larger cabinet style unit located on the ground, often directly attached to a building. And pad transformer service involve several mat transformers located on a pad. Design build is an arrangement typically involving the owner of the land agreeing to build the structure of size, quality, and to build a structure of a size, quality of construction, of all appearance in accordance with the requirements of a specific tenant. Most uh, most build design agreements Most build design activities begin with a detailed analysis of the user needs, building site criteria, and a detailed costing. Commercial brokers typically have extensive information concerning hard and soft costs and range of typical land use help out to help in cost estimating. Hard costs include structure mechanical components, site preparation, contractor overhead and profit. Soft costs include project management, engineering, legal and consulting fees, financing charges, and connection fees. Design build option. Brokerage involved in a design build strategy. Brokerage involvement in design build strategy can also include analysis of a lease versus own option. Client may then evaluate various possibilities, including ownership by acquiring suitable land and constructing a building, leasing of a completed building based on a predetermined building and site criteria, acquisition of a suitable land followed by sale or leaseback arrangement where a new owner constructs the building and enters into a long-term lease with the former owner as a tenant. Design building arrangements are commonly associated with a, with a seller with a seller market when demand for the land is high and existing space is limited. These are financing that are attractive attractive rates is an important element in the growth of design build activity. Conversely, such activity is dramatically reduced in market where ample lease space is available at very competitive rate and buildings are available for sale below replacement cost. Design build scenarios can be complex given the particular need of the users. Commercial brokerage activity will often include not only detailed costing like land and building costs as well as interim and permanent loan costs, real estate commissions, closing expenses, contingencies, but also detailed pro forma statement outlining cash flow projections, present value estimates, and internal rate of return. Rent quotation established for the tenant following the cost estimates and proper forma statements. Design strategy has the tenant information and solid financial capabilities. Preliminary proposal evaluate option strategies for tenant and developer and initial proposal for consideration to select developers. Developer may develop discuss and evaluate preliminary proposal for developer perspective. Registrant with the developer and under the expertise establish a detailed proposal along with the rent quotation. Detailed proposal and rent quotation submitted for acceptance. Provide follow-up and assistance as required leading to the project completion. Sale or a leaseback. Sale or a leaseback involves the sale of the property by the owner with a leaseback to the property to the selected owner. The seller liquidates or equity the land and building for use of the purposes. Buyer, the investor is assured of a long-term cash flow, and the seller may have the option to purchase the property following the lease. Obviously, certain is associated with the sale or leaseback. The investor is relying on the tenant to make regular lease payments, thereby ensuring ensuring a rate of return. Any default can adversely affect the investor's cash flow. On the converse, the land is may appreciate substantially during the lease period, and the investor enjoying capital appreciation may through the building may have depreciated significantly over the extended lease period. Valuation of industrial or valuation of industrial property. There's direct comparison. The direct comparison cost of purchase, typical adjustments apply, and under income approaches, you can say balance sheet is required. I think with this we are done with the chapter. Thanks for your time. Bye.